Hey there, everybody, and thank you for watching another episode of The Moment. I am your host with the absolute most, CLEO BERRY. Now, on today's show, we are talking about the S word. No, not that word. We're talking about success, okay? And that word means something different to every single person that hears it, you know? Success, happiness, and joy to me could seem like a damn dark prison to you. It's all subjective, right? Um, that's why I love that we have this show, you know? It's showing people from so many different angles of our industry and the various levels of success. And now you get to curate what success means to you, you know? I love it. I love it. I love it. There are so many forks in the road, you know, on the road to success. It's cluttered with self-doubt and personal issues, but listen to me. Listen to me. You can get tired. You can take a break. You can take a breath, but you must press forward. You cannot give up. Say it with me. I cannot give up. Okay? Let's move forward with that thought process. Take your best educated guess, your best educated chance, and jump, leap, keep going until that destination feels right to you. Okay? You cannot become complacent. Only you know what success in your industry, success in your family, and success to you, what that means, okay? Have you guys been watching the new show With Love, Megan on Netflix by the Duchess of Sussex? Oh, I have. And I love the simplicity of it. I love the splendor. I love the regality of it. I just love her. It's all about joy, your inner joy, and passing it on to the person that you love, the people that you care about, you know, your friend circle. I think it's so cool. She's literally taking strawberries, slicing them, but she's slicing them in heart shapes. And she's putting them on cute charcuterie boards, and she's just elevating things just a little bit to help us live a better life. And I think that's amazing. Even with her haters, her detractors, she still wakes up and goes after what success looks like to her. Now, our next guest is also on her own road to success. Some people might think that she's arrived. We'll let her decide and tell us, okay? Right now, she's playing Donna Gurganous on the hit NBC TV series Night Court. They're in their third season, so fingers crossed for a fourth one. Everyone, please help me welcome the amazing, talented, hilarious, awesome person, Lacretta, not Lacretta, Lacretta.
This is the moment, let's be clear, this is your moment, while you're here, this is the moment, let's be clear, this is your moment, while you're here, the
Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to The Moment. I am your host with the absolute most, CLEO BERRY. Now, the most of what is still to be determined. Woo! Y'all, we have such a great show for you, okay? Today's guest is someone whose career I've admired from afar. Before today, I've only met her on Instagram. Over Instagram, I know stuff happens in real life sometimes too, okay? So I'm very honored that she's joining us in person. I became a fan of hers after watching clips of her on Avenue Q. Her voice is legendary. Like, I'm telling you, go to her social media, check out her stuff. Since Avenue Q, she did Second Act with Jennifer Lopez. I am a J-Lo stan, so seeing her on there, I was like, what? What is happening? Oh my God. And after that, now she's in the third season of the hit series Night Court. Everyone, please help me welcome Lacretta, not Lacretta, Lacretta, one name, to the show. Everybody.
Thank you.
Girl, welcome and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My gosh.
I didn't know you knew me back when.
Yes. I've been like, it's not hard. There's a lot of talented Black people out there. Mm-hmm. But to see them pop, to see them in roles that are defining is rare. So I have been like, oh my gosh, she's doing it and doing it well. So
thank you.
Congrats on everything. Now let's get to the question that everybody wants to know. That's the reason people come to the show. It's the name of the show, The Moment. What was the moment when you realized your passion in life?
It was probably in the second grade.
Okay.
When Becky Huckabee got to be the princess.
Not Becky Huckabee.
Becky Huckabee. And I was a sheep. And I was not happy about that. And so I think that's when I realized, this is something that I wanted to do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What was it about the sheep?
Because the sheep didn't have no lines.
Okay, and Becky had all the
was
lines.
the princess,
Becky with the good hair had all the lines.
And she did. Her braids, like her braided pigtails, came down to her waist.
Oh.
And I know this because I sat behind her in class.
I was like, did you measure?
No, they were always in my face.
Oh.
Like, she wasn't the kind that would toss, and they would end up on my desk.
Uh-huh.
But I was just like, oof. I also want to braid your hair.
I also want to be your friend.
I know.
But also, you took my role.
Exactly.
So I can't lock you in a closet. Okay, I got you.
And in retrospect, she probably only had like 4 lines. It's a second grade.
Right.
So it wasn't going to be like some epic Shakespearean thing, but I felt so slighted.
Your heart was like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right? I was like, we didn't have no auditions. How do you know that I'm not going to be the best?
Come on.
The best princess.
You were ready to bust out the box in the second grade.
Uh-huh. And they did on purpose. They stuck me all the way on the end, too. It wasn't like sheep next to princess. Because I think I might have been all right.
Right.
But it was sheep number 13 on the end.
Y'all are dirty for that. Look at her now.
Hey.
No
tough,
sheep,
tough.
no sheep.
No.
I just want to say on record, thank you. Because you guys don't know this, but I put out a little post on Instagram saying, does anyone know a producer who can help me out with the theme song for this show? And this lady responded out of nowhere. Was like, I have the perfect person.
Yeah.
And it worked out. And so he did the theme song for this show. So thank you. You didn't have to do that.
Listen, you had a question and I had an answer. so why not
shout out to Ice Cold Beats.
Yes.
For doing. Did he do your theme song?
Yeah, he did my intro and my outro for my Twitch streams.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. That's like, you don't see people doing that all the time for
people
no
don't
reason.
share.
Yeah.
You should share.
Hello. Look at what happens when you share. You can meet people in real life and get off social media.
And that got me out the house to touch grass.
No, that's right. Okay, now, can we talk about 3rd season hit show, Night Court?
Yeah.
Like, you guys don't just have, like, a stellar main cast. Like, your guest stars are legendary. Like, what's I don't want to say your favorite one, but what's been your most memorable guest star that you've been able to work with so far?
Gosh, I would have to say Jennifer Lewis first.
Oh my God, the mother of Black Hollywood.
Oh my goodness.
I want to play my mama so bad.
So bad. She was amazing. And I tend to get shy, so I didn't realize that she was our guest star, because I looked at the script, of course.
Right.
And we get them on a Friday night. Monday we come in, we do our table read.
Okay.
So I hadn't noticed the cast breakdown. And then I heard her first.
Oof, that voice.
And I was like,
wait a minute.
I looked down the table and I was like, yeah, that's her. She's here. Okay. Everything's fine. She's all the way down there.
Center.
As soon as they say we're done, I'm leaving. Like, I didn't meet her that day. And I didn't go talk to her the next day. Thankfully, like, we had some things in passing, but we didn't really have any scenes together, and I was okay with that because I wasn't ready. And then Thursday, she comes into the glam room. She's like, little girl. And I was like, uh-huh. She was like,
yes, mama.
Somebody asked me how it was to work with you, and I said, I don't know. I haven't met her. She's been creeping.
And you had.
I had. And so there's a picture of us where she's leaning up against the glam table. I'm in the chair, and I'm just looking at her like, I love you so much. Aww. And I was like, well, but I was orbiting you. I wasn't creeping. I was orbiting you because you are the sun.
Right. She
goes,
seems like she just, ooh.
Yeah, it just exudes. She's so graceful and just bombastic. And she was like, I should tell you about such and such. Buy the book. And I was like, yep, in my cart. In my cart right now.
She has a new book?
She's got a book, and I can't place the title of it, but she's on the cover, and words, but you can get it on Amazon.
Okay. Look for the Jennifer Lewis book on Amazon, y'all.
Then she's done a couple, so there's a few out there, so get them all. Get them all. She was driving off one day, and she goes, little girl. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Remind me to tell you about the time that I worked with Wheezy. And I was like, what? We didn't have enough time to talk about that, but I was like, but I had been thinking, because, my grades are coming in, and I was like, what if they do like a Florida Evans,
you would
like a
Good
Times reboot
thing? Gosh.
I got it already.
You would kill.
Let me do it.
We want to educate our audience here. So, as a series regular, what's the first thing that you do when you walk on set to begin your day?
I like to get there early.
Come on,
At
early.
least a half an hour early, especially going into... Okay, so Monday is a table read. And that's all we do. And then they go and they have notes. They do rewrites. So Tuesday we come in and we start rehearsing. Whatever changes that happen Monday into Tuesday, sometimes we don't get them. And there's a new script for us in our dressing rooms.
Right.
So I like to, and this is weird, instead of just taking the new script that they put in there, I like to integrate whatever new changes into the old script. There's something about spending time with the old script, even though it's going to change by the time we get to Thursday, Friday. And plus, if I have notes, it's so much easier to just transfer the notes onto the new pages or not even have to worry about transferring anything to the new pages because, you know, you're just adding a couple of new lines here and there. To the point where it's like, oh, this half page changed, so I'm just going to tear this out. Like, it's very Frankenstein pieced together. Okay. But for some reason, that makes more sense. It does, because coming up in the theater, you didn't really have any line changes. You didn't really have any script changes because you're doing things that were written by people who are dead. Or if you are blessed to be able to do some new work, you know, they're not at that point when you're getting into production, we're not dealing with readings, but when you're getting into production, it's set. It's set, so you're not really adding anything to it. So you've had this script for the past 4 weeks. This is your connection to that character. It's something tangible. So for me, just adding those new pages in, I like to have that half hour before. And then we go and we do rehearsal. I got my pencil, never writing anything in the script in pen. Because it always changes.
It's going to change.
So pencil, highlight, super bright highlight. Because, you know, as you get older, things change. Then prescriptions change. And then we have rehearsal. We work everything, all the scenes out. We break for lunch, and then we come back and we do a run through. One day it's for the network, the next day it's for the studio, or vice versa. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday we come in and we do pre-tapes. So anything that is on a swing set or anything that's got some technical elements to it or some animals in it or babies, we shoot those on Thursday. And then on Friday we come back again. We come back that morning from like 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We do camera blocking. So we go through every scene that we're doing that day. We do the first, then the stand-ins come in and do the second, the more minutia. And then we come back and we run it again so the cameras know where to go and where to swing, who to pick up and on which shot. And then from about 4:30 on into the evening is when we have our live studio audience. And it always tickles me. They're like, the canned laughter. Oh, we can't stand the canned laughter. And I'm like, no, but we actually have a live audience there.
There's somebody there.
They're there. And they're not mic'd like, you know, individual lava mics. It's a mic above them. And we're in a big old set. So it's not a ceiling anywhere near them. So, you know, it does sound weird, but there's actually human people that are there laughing.
What's your favorite part about playing Donna?
Well, first of all, her name is GURGS.
GURGS. Sorry.
She prefers to be GURGS.
GURGS.
You know, being a black woman of a particular size, there are some stigmas that are put on us. So I kind of have to filter the things that I say, especially when I correct people on my name or when I do this. And these are things that shouldn't be taken personally. But because of the way that they see me, they're like, oh, well, she's just, they get defensive immediately. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, someone must have spelled it wrong on here. No, it's not spelled wrong. That is the way that it's spelled. So I understand that you would call me Lacretta, but it's Lacretta. And I will say it so sweetly, and people will get so defensive about it. And I'm like, I'm not trying to call you out. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. But I just have to let you know that that's what my name is. But with GURGS, oh, no. She'd be like, no. There was a line that got cut. She was like, I tried to be a Donna, but I just couldn't.
I'm a GURGS.
I'm a GURGS.
That's what it is.
Even my mama calls me GURGS.
Everybody, you can be a GURGS too. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I want to sidestep for a second.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the agent subject. As actors, sometimes it's hard to talk about agents, managers, and do you need, and if you do need, which one and how to work with them, how to deal with the team. Yeah. I saw that you don't have an agent or a manager. Yeah. How are you maneuvering the industry? Slowly now. Okay. I think. Okay. Because I don't have access. Okay. You know, I only know about Actors Access. I don't know where else other audition notices are posted. Okay. So with me just using this one source and with me being a very specific type, I'm limited. When you have an agent or a manager that has some juice, Right.
They're able to say, oh, well, here's this project here that's actually asking for a guy, but you guys are the same type.
Right.
The rest of the breakdown fits you. Let me see if I can pitch you for this role and maybe even get you an audition. Because at the end of the day, they might not exactly know what they want.
True.
And if they have another option that hits it spot on, then maybe that will make them say. I mean, it's like that one in particular was a person who worked at a pawn shop. I could work at a pawn shop.
Right.
I love a pawn shop. Right. And besides, and especially me being behind the glass, like I ain't got to be no big brooding person. I'm behind the glass. You can try me if you want to. And there's a shotgun back here, you know? So, but I don't, just doing Actors Access, I can't be like, I would be perfect for this.
Right.
I can't pitch myself.
Call me in.
Right. You'll see once you see my audition. Because I'll probably flake and not do it. So, there's that part as well. So that has been a limitation. But the beautiful part about it is that I'm working. And the beautiful part about it is that I've been smart about my savings.
Okay.
Get you a high yield interest money market savings account.
Teach the folk. Teach them.
Let your money grow while it's just sitting there because you don't know it's so uncertain in this business. But at the end of the day, I am not going to settle for mistrust. I'm not going to settle for the loss of funds.
Is that what was happening?
I'm also not going to settle, and this often happens with being shelved. That part of, this actor has a job. So we're just going to put them over there and we're going to take their, commissions, but we're going to set them over here and now we're going to
focus on other people.
And I know you need to focus on other people. So that's like, as I'm looking now for a new agent, there's a part of me that's like, well, I'm not going to go to CAA, but like maybe GURGS, maybe Innovative, maybe.
That's my number one. That's my favorite GURGS.
Yeah. And so I'm doing my research and I'm finding about these people, but then I'm like, they got 3,000 clients.
Yeah.
Now this person has 70.
Right.
But I don't recognize anybody on her roster to be like, oh, okay, well, these are the kind of jobs that they're getting. Right. But then I also see, but also, they don't have anyone who looks like me. But is that necessarily a good or a bad thing? Do I want to be? It's such a shuffle. And so, but you take the meetings and you talk to people. But I'm damaged goods right now. Like I have
damaged goods.
But I have trust issues. And so coming into a new relationship, I'm going to be setting specific boundaries to say, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. And so in an effort for these things to not happen, I'm going to have a lot of questions. I'm going to be over your shoulder for at least a year and a half until I feel like you do have my best interest at heart.
And that's okay. That should be okay for the right person.
Exactly. So that's my trepidation going into looking for a new agent. I'm definitely at this point not looking for a manager. And that was the flip side before. Like at that time, I was like, you know what? Then I'm not going to have an agent. I'll have a manager. And then whatever that was that happened between my manager and I, now I'm like, I don't want a manager ever again.
We want to educate our audience a little bit more. So can you tell them about your audition self-tape process? Like you have a job now. You're currently just chilling with the auditions and stuff like that. But before this, what was your self-tape life like? What did you do when you first got the script, the sides? What do you...
I'm not a fan of self-tapes.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it just feels so sterile, and coming from being in the theater and going in to the office, there's something that you have so much time to prepare. I'm coming down from the Bronx. It's a 50-minute subway ride down to the city. So that gives me time to go over things or just to sit in the preparation that I've done up until now. And then there's that fellowship when you get there of all your friends and all the people that you have come into the city with and seen on that little bitty bench at Equity when you're non-ec and you got to sit over in the corner or you got to sit outside.
I was going to say outside is more like it.
So then you have that, and that also takes like the nerves off.
Yeah.
When you're doing a self-tape, you don't have that experience. You don't have, it's not packaged that way. Yeah. The beautiful part about doing the audition for this was I did it all in New York. So everything was over Zoom and I got to be in the sanctuary of my own home.
Right.
And when I read the breakdown was fine, but when I read the actual script and I saw just how weird she was and how she wasn't that Aunt Jemima, big black woman, trope. And that she could be anybody.
Right.
Then I was like, yeah, I want this. I want this. I could work with this.
I can do something.
And it's interesting to talk to them about it and we don't have to get into details, but Mona, who I'm having lunch with on Wednesday, she was like, I wrote down potatoes. So after you finish your audition, your callback, we're all just kind of sitting on Zoom like, dang. And then Mona goes, potatoes. And everybody was like, yeah. It was the way that you said potatoes. The way that you said potatoes. No one else, everybody else says potatoes. But you were like, potatoes. Like, there was something in that cadence. There was something in that was like, that's magic.
That's it.
That's it.
What it
That's
is.
GURGS.
You book stuff now. How have you dealt with rejection? Because that's most of the business.
It's most of the business.
Most of the business, you guys, is rejection. So, and everyone deals with it differently.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I think because I didn't always get things all the time. You know, I grew up an only child. My mother did not spoil me. She was very much, but you know, you're going to earn things. I didn't get a monthly allowance, a weekly allowance. I got an allowance maybe at the end of this year when you got your grade card. And for that, I think it was like $2 an A. Like $2 an A. What? Can I get a 5? Do you know how hard it took? I'm at a prep school. You know how hard it was to get this A? So, but nothing was ever handed to me. And because, you know, again, because it's not going to change, I'm a Black woman of a particular size, and I'm going into these predominantly white spaces with predominantly white casting. And that formula then was you're going to have one person of color, and you might have one full-figured person.
Right.
And if it just so happened that full-figured person was also Black, well, then that takes the other people out.
Right.
So I wasn't
Birds, one stone.
exactly. Ooh. You know, you go from school when you're playing everybody, where everyone whoever was the best person for that show, they booked it. So I got to be Arcadna in the Seagull. I got to do some really cool things that I don't necessarily get to do now, and I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, things are the way that they are, and they are changing, and it is getting better. And never did I ever think that I would see myself. I would be the person that people were seeing. Right. I thought, oh, my Nell Carter, I love her so much, and then I did the pilot. And I was like, you know, it's not the reboot of Give Me a Break, but I am playing a nanny, so this is my Give Me a Break. This is my reboot. Right. And so now to have GURGS, who is so unconventional and is not the stereotype for a big Black woman, is just refreshing. So refreshing. It's refreshing. And I say this all the time, and then to hear people validate that and affirm that then lets me know that I'm not seeing her with rose-colored glasses. Like, it is a thing. I am doing a thing. Right. Yeah.
Ooh, my gosh. Your first feature film was Second Act?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. How was that? How was J-Lo? How was Leah Remini? How was, what's her name? Vanessa Hudgens? How was this?
It was great. It was great. And, I mean, so unexpected. Really? Because I thought, after the Broadway debut, I was like, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be on the stage. It's going to be awesome. Right. And I had done like Law and Order and Broad City by then, and I loved it. I loved that experience. I loved those long days, but I was like, I'll dabble in the television.
Dabble.
Yeah, I'll do a guest star here and there. And now we're here. But also to that sentiment, I've only ever prayed for success. Ooh. And so for me, at that time, the initial prayer was doing theater in Kansas City, getting me a cute little house, being able to pay my bills, and buy some video games. That was success for me. Ooh. That was enough. Ooh. And so a friend had written on her wall, you are getting exactly what you prayed for. And I was thinking, because I'm here by this point, and I'm like, no, I didn't pray for this. And then that still small voice was like, yeah, you did. Ooh. Remember? Because you prayed for success. Ooh. And I was like, yeah, but no, I prayed for a house in Kansas City. Right. And they were like, and? Now you got a house here. Right. Oof. Oh. So I'm glad that I kept it. I don't want to say that the bar was low. I'm glad that I kept it that simple. What is it? Keep it simple, stupid? Yeah. I'm glad that I kept it that, you might not be saying stupid now, but keep it simple, sweetie.
Come on, redo it. Yes.
You ain't got to be so hard on yourself.
True.
Keep it simple. And so that was the prayer. And so this is where we are. And so when the movie came around, it's always like, this is what I get to do. And Jennifer Lopez was amazing. And Leah Remini was amazing. And they were just to have such powerful women, not only at the helm of the project, but just to be so chill. Jennifer Lopez had her Birkin bag with her. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a Birkin.
Limited edition.
Like I'm trying to smell it. I'm trying to smell it from afar. So she sat it down next to the chair, and then my direction was to go sit in that chair, and I'm just like, I'm trying to look at it. And so later on, I was like, can I touch your bag? And she was like, what? I was like, can I touch your Birkin? She was like, oh yeah. And she just like plopped it down. And I was like, oh, you just gonna plop it on my lap?
Like it's a little baby.
Right? And I'm just like, that's a Birkin bag.
I can't.
And I don't know like which one it was. I don't care. But like I got to touch it and look at the line. Like it's nice. Oh. Quality. Yeah. But like little things like that. Like we were playing her friends.
Right.
But she didn't have to be that personable.
Truth.
And so there were times where, because she was a producer, she would be over in the village watching things back. So she wasn't always around. But Leah would just sit in between takes.
Wow.
And just tell us stories.
Wow.
She was like, when I was auditioning, my background was a little different in that I didn't need it. So to go to an audition when you don't need it
is a whole different mindset.
There's a piece there.
Ooh. She
was like, I would go to auditions in sweatpants. And I was like, you said what? She's like, don't do that.
Right. Please,
I'm not encouraging you to do that.
Right.
But I was afforded that luxury to be able to be casual and go in and do my thing. Because I still had to do my thing. I couldn't be in there in sweatpants and be terrible.
Right.
I still had to be brilliant.
Right. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. And that's what this episode is mostly about, is what success means to each person.
Correct.
So I'm glad you hinted on that. And I hope you guys are at home trying to figure out what success means to you. I hope you're saying your own prayer and that it works out for you as well. We're going to come back with a game segment with the wonderful Lacretta. You guys stay right there and we'll be right back, okay? Bye. Hey y'all, welcome back. Woo woo! We are with Lacretta and we are in our game segment. Okay, so we are playing a like ish game. They're not paying me, I'm not paying them, so it's like. Okay, so we have some movies here, we have some actions. We've already discussed it. I'm gonna pull an act out and you're gonna guess. And it's gonna be fabulous. But before we start, could you please tell us what your charity is and tell us a little about it?
Yeah, so it's going to be the Girl Scouts of America, or the USA. Girl Scouts for sure. I grew up a Girl Scout. They would take us out into the woods, which was great for my mom because she got a break from me for a week.
Oh.
So I loved going to Girl Scout camp because we learned like wood carving and we got to go fishing and swimming and arts and crafts. And it was just great for an imaginative, creative child to get that time. And also to spend it with nature. So true. I was a Boy Scout and we did all that stuff too. Yeah. I did not need to be in the wilderness trying to cook over an open fire flame. And I definitely don't need to sleep in a tent on a cold ground in the middle of the forest anymore. That's not going to happen. They pampered us. We had permatents. Oh, no. We were in the dirt. We were on the ground. In Arkansas. Dirt. In the middle of the forest. And that's just not something I'm going to ever do again. But thank you, Boy Scouts. It was a wonderful experience, that week away. How much time do we have? We're doing a minute. For each... Or a minute total? Minute total. Okay. And if you pass the threshold, we will donate a small donation to the charity. Well, I appreciate that. Okay. And let's start with actions. We're ready when you're ready. And go. Okay. Making piles. Baking a cake. Ooh, scooping up, molding, pottery, ceramics. Pass. Wait, actually. Snorkeling, swimming, scuba diving. Boom. Ooh, bowling. Baseball.
You better work.
4, 3, 2, 1. Time.
Calligraphy.
A figure painting. You did so good, girl.
Thank you.
You don't understand. It's sometimes it's just silence. When people guess it, it's just silence. It's just no answers.
Blank stares.
You got so many right. Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
When I tell y'all, she did y'all a favor, a donation, a small donation is coming your way.
There is no donation too small.
Amen. After they have those good cookies, there's not a donation too small. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
This has been such a pleasure for me. Now, I like to do one last question before we end this thing. You and I both, cut our teeth doing, the auditions in New York City, the non-equity and the equity and moving up. What advice do you have for people who are in theater school right now, who are starting their professional careers, they're beating the pavement? Do you have any advice for them to keep going or to the right restaurant to go to before the audition or the right restroom around the corner?
Yeah.
Do you have a piece of advice that you can give them?
Yeah, just hang in there.
Ooh.
Hang in there as best as you can.
Yeah.
If your finances are taking a hit, you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
But if you can afford to stay in. The beautiful part about me is that I was too broke to leave. So I had to stay.
I'm like, you in this now. You in here.
I mean, if I'd have to walk away with nothing
in
order for me to get out of this situation.
Yes,
so, hang in there. You're going to hear a lot of no's, unfortunately. But it's a yes.
Yeah.
Either that one or that two or that third yes.
Right.
That could completely change your life.
Right. Until you get the yes from them, you have to be the yes amongst all the no's to keep going. I love that.
And shake it off. It's not you.
Yeah.
Just because you don't book it, that doesn't mean that you weren't the best person for that job. It was just, it was going to somebody else.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Keep going.
Don't take it personally.
I love that. Thank you so much. Before we leave, I would like to thank Issa Rae for reminding all of us to network across instead of trying to reach up and grab and ask someone to help us. So this is my first time reaching across and building this show, and I'm getting to meet so many wonderful people like you. So thank you, Issa Rae, and thank you for coming on to the show. And Issa, girl, whenever you want to sit in this chair, it is heated, it is warm, and it is ready for you to talk, okay? All right, everybody else, we'll see you later on The Moment. Bye.
This is the moment, let's be clear. This is your moment, while you're here. This is the moment.